And ultimately it's a retirement, which is the biggest crisis in the industry right now. And we do it over the platform of the Insurance, Investment, Health and Education. And we run these workshops in our Valentine office on every Sunday evening. And if you want to learn more about that, you can come talk to one of us. I have me here and a couple of teammates here. So, with that, the big concern, the education crisis, tuition costs are constantly rising and expected to double by 2025. Financial aid, loans and counseling are becoming harder to obtain. So we need to give a debt-free platform for our kids. We all know this, that that the first generation, the people who came here and who studied here, they were funded by their parents back in home. And so that's why they never had to see this thing called aid or the student loan. So they never realized that what is the impact on it. But people like Rashmili or people like other people who are on the second generation here, they probably had to go through the FAFSA aid and a lot of other topics where they had to apply for the student loan, which is not always a good situation to be in, because it creates a lot of debt right away, and that brings a Dr. Kalpana Shuklan's topic that, that there is an impact on the brain. So let's declutter this thing. So current challenges. There is a rising college fees. I can tell you that I graduated 10 years ago, and my 4-year degree costed a whole lot less than the 4-year degree that costs today. And if you have a kid that is going to go to college 10 years later, you can expect that you will see a bigger bill than what you may be thinking of. So today, as of today, 4-year degree can cost at least about $100,000 in a regular, typical community college. If they want to go to the good university, then it's going to take about $250,000. And if they want to go to the Ivy League, it's going to go to about $350,000. I might be wrong in depending on the school that you want to choose, but this is an average nationally. Then there is a college aid debt. You all know that we have a lot of different debts going on in our life. There's a house loan, there's a student loan, there's a credit card debt. The student loan has become the highest type of the debt in this country. It has surpassed the credit card debt. It has also surpassed the housing loan. So you can think that when your child will be applying for the FAFSA aid or any kind of the student loans, how hard it will become for them to obtain one. Third is, there are too many choices. Dr. Kalpana talked about the age 13 through 18, roles versus confusion. The kid is going through a lot of confusion at around 15, 16 age. At that time, they are also talking to their friends, and they are also talking about a lot of different topics, and they don't know which major they want to go to, which school they want to go to. They just make the decision based upon their friends' decisions, and they often get it wrong, and then they realize, oh, I want to do it again, I want to do it differently. So they waste time. And we all have been into the boat where our parents were not able to convince us, and we had to go talk to our uncles and aunties and all the other people. So that's the age that is going on where the brain is confusing. Then we talk about the completion rate. If you look at the national average to complete a 4-year degree, it is a 6.5 years. It may be a stereotype to call that that for Indian community it is a little bit less than the 6.5 years, but your child can be in the above range also if he or she is very much confused. If he or she is confused, then you are going to need to have the counseling happening to that kid so that he or she selects the right college, right major, and finishes it in the right time. And the last is the busy parents. Everybody is busy. They all want to have the kids growing up fast in the best and the easiest way. But while you're busy, the kids are getting this, they are getting disturbed by so many other, objections in their life. So in that situation, you need a counseling to come help you out. So we need education in order to change. We have a college planning program that is partnered up with us in our non-profit organization that helps us to determine the most effective, tax efficient way to find a college in education, and it's not always easy. So most parents are always not prepared for it. By the time the student enters high school, they do not understand or receive enough guidance towards the most important phase of their future. Student and parents need to be prepared for the college admission process. In this college planning program that we are going on, they teach how to start preparing as early as the freshman year. Student needs a guidance to choose the right school, courses, activities, internships, sports, etc. Then they also counsel on what are the students' interests, their skills assessment, their work value assessment. They counsel about which colleges are suitable for the student, are they prepared for the application and admission process or not. They talk about how to write a good personal statement, FAFSA verification, financial aid comparison, scholarships, student loans, grants, appeals and processes. Now you can easily argue that that my school's going to go to my child is going to go to the UNCC or NC State or whatever. In that they are going to have the counselor, but that is the counselor after the fact that they have bought the admission, and you'll be stunned to realize there is only one counselor available per 2,000 child in this country. So maybe not a good ratio for you to get that harder to obtain kind of a counseling from the school counseling. So you have to go through a third-party counseling for your child so that they finish the 4-year degree in a right way, so that it doesn't become a financial burden for you. So according to college saving calculator, if you have 18 years to save for college, that costs about $25,000 a year. With inflation at 3% average, you would need to save, and it depends on what kind of the plan that you get into. But if you have a plan that gives you a rate of return of 2%, then you will need at least $6,800 a year. That means you will need to contribute about $500 a month. And if you are wiser and you dig deeper and you can come to the 8% rate of return kind of a plan, then you're going to need to contribute lesser, at least half of it, $3,600, and that is about $300 a month. So with that, you can basically actually, build a calculator like this. So let's say if you're a kid that just was born, and you start, and this is a 8% plan, where if you put the $5,000 a year, and you start contributing, and you have no cost attached because you have a 0-year child, is not going to college, so you're just parking the money, depositing the money. You let it grow for the 18 years straight, you would have contributed, accumulated about $146,000 at the cost of about $80,000 deposits. So you're doing something rather than nothing. Now how many of us have just thought typically a bank is the only way for us to just keep depositing, and then think, oh, by the time my child turns 18, he or she will figure out the FAFSA aid. Do you want to be honest and raise a hand? Okay, I see a few hands. So that's good, at least someone see this. Okay, so here is a decluttering of the saving situation. There is a bank, the typical spot. There is a 529 plan, which is some of you are already invested in, and then there is an index strategy that requires a more deeper research on it. So we're gonna go by the metrics. So like if you buy iPhone versus Android, you look at the battery and the camera, megapixels and all that. So we're gonna declutter it by the metrics. If you look at the rate of return, and if you deposit the money in a bank, it's gonna give you less than 0.02%. If you go with the 529 plan, it typically gives 3 to 5% interest rate. And if you go with the index strategy, it's gonna take you to 5 to 10% index return. If you wanna pull the money out, if the kid doesn't wanna go to school, and if you wanna pull the money out, if you had parked it in bank, obviously there is no penalty. You can pull out anytime. If you have parked the money into the 529 plan, and if you wanna pull out the money, it's going to be 10% penalty. If you want to pull it out from the index strategy, no penalty. From the tax perspective, the contribution that you make to the bank, they are taxable, and gains are also taxable. If you put it in 529, contributions are taxable, and the gains are not taxable as of right now. But our political administration of this country, since Obama's time, has been pushing hard to make it taxable. So under deep scrutiny, and about to be made taxable. And the index strategy is a contribution. They are taxable, gains are not taxable. So you make the tax-free gains for the education. Then there is a benefit. What is the benefit? This is just a saving deposit account. Then there is a savings with the higher growth but aimed only towards kids' education. And then the third is a savings with the highest growth and added death benefit. We don't think about the death, but if anything happens, then it is attached to it. Then there is a plan ownership. Bank, parent is owner of the account, and they pass it to the child when the child is ready. In the 529, only parent is the owner. Child can never obtain the ownership. And in the index strategy, there is a parent, same as bank. Parent is owner, and if they want to pass it on to the child, they can do that. FAFSA aid, financial screening to finalize the actual aid needed. So when a child applies for the FAFSA aid or any kind of a student loan, they run the social security. When they run the social security, all the assets are captured. So bank savings are not counted in those assets. So if he or she applied for $200,000, $100,000, whatever it is, then bank account will not be considered in that. So it is good in a way. 529 assets, if there is a 529 account exists, then it will be captured in the screening, and that will reduce down the what kind of aid you're gonna get. And in the index strategy saving account, it's same as bank, it is not captured. Discrimination, this is something big, and it's becoming often found on even the blogs. If you go on Google, and you'll see all these things. So if a child has a 4.0 GPA of one parent and has a 4.0 GPA of another parent, and they both are applying for a seat into certain school that is running by the scholarship, then the dean is going to run the social security number to see the child has any kind of a 529 declared or not declared, or any kind of assets. If the child has any kind of a financial plan loaded, then there is a less likely to get it compared to the other kid who doesn't have a financial plan that is getting detected. So from that point of view, the bank account and index strategy gets filtered out, and they don't get discrimination, but the 529 does get discriminated in. So it's up to you, if you're how you want to lay out your deposit allocations and how you want to build your child's college foundation, because by the time when they will turn 18, they will start asking for money, and that money check will be a fat check to write. So don't get shocked and don't wait for the time, otherwise time will be biting you.
Excuse me, sorry.
Yes.
Just go back to the previous one and the last.
This one?
Discrimination, yeah. You might redo it again, the last one.
Yeah. So it's often noted that the schools like Harvard, Yale, or any Ivy League, or even like the most in demand kind of a school, they are running short on the seats when so many students are applying that. And when they are applying, they look at the GPA as a first thing, and if the GPAs are tying up, then they look at second thing that they do is they run the social security number to see if I'm the dean and if I'm offering the scholarship, then the scholarship is going to be given to a child that doesn't have any financial funding done. So if you have planned 529 plan for your child, and let's say if I'm not, and both of the kids are 4.0 GPA, then my child is going to get it because there is no 529 detected.
Thank you.
So we represent 150 plus financial institutions, and we make it happen any which way. So if you want to think about 529, or if you want to think about the index strategy, we can help you out figuring out how to hit that goal and take your child to that sweet spot. If you have any question, you're more than welcome, or we can take the question in the end.
Thank you, Mr. Shah. If you guys have any questions regarding this, you can contact him.
Yeah.
I think he's circulating his books to everyone.
Yep.
And he'll be glad to answer your questions.
Yeah, make sure that you get this book. It's just got a lot of knowledge inside it. Just let us have your contact information, and we also run the workshops if you want to attend the workshops.
Yes.
Yeah. Give me 2 minutes.
So now we're going to move on to the next presenter. Before that, as a token of appreciation on behalf of Shakthi, I would like to invite Clarence Gadapati to present a small gift to our speakers. Clarence is an entrepreneur and founder of Alpha Radian Inc. and is a mentor for Cube City Robotics, supports many non-profit organizations including UIC and Shakthi Corp. He's also a board director of Framework for Future. He's involved in political activities and community service, which brings benefits to our South Asian communities. Thank you, Clarence, for your support and guidance.
So first of all, Lydia, thank you very much. Thank you for organizing this great session. HD, great job presenting all that data. I hope he told you kids are expensive. When they go off to college, they become more so. So, I'm glad to be part of Shakthi. I'm glad to be part of a community that has been activated in the city. And this is the only way we can move forward is we actually solve problems that are relevant to ourselves, by ourselves, and bring in the experts to actually weigh in on these. Thank you, Nidia.